Welcome back. Please like, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us. Today we are discussing the ongoing military conflict between the United States and Iran, which has now entered its fourth day.
Hello, Alex. This morning, President Trump gave an update on the situation. He announced that the joint U.S. and Israeli airstrikes could continue for several weeks. Specifically, he suggested a timeline of 4 to 5 weeks for the first part of the operation.
The president mentioned that the U.S. is prepared for a longer engagement if necessary. The goal, according to the White House, is to neutralize threats from Iran's missile and nuclear programs. Jamie, what is happening in Washington regarding the legality of these strikes?
Well, the administration officially notified Congress yesterday. Today, Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth are meeting with lawmakers to explain the mission. They are providing the legal reasons for the strikes that began on February 28th.
This briefing comes at a difficult time. We have learned that 6 U.S. service members were killed in a drone attack in Kuwait. On the other hand, the White House reports that 49 senior Iranian leaders have been eliminated since the start of the campaign.
Despite those reports, there is a lot of disagreement about the war. A recent poll shows that 59% of Americans disapprove of the strikes. Even close allies like the United Kingdom have expressed concerns about the situation getting worse.
However, House Speaker Mike Johnson defended the president. He argued that the strikes were a necessary step to prevent an immediate attack on American forces.
It is certainly a high-risk situation. Because of the regional instability, the State Department is now urging American citizens to leave more than a dozen countries in the Middle East immediately.
Thank you for that analysis, Jamie. We will continue to monitor these developments closely. Thank you for listening.
Good evening. Today we are discussing a significant diplomatic meeting in Washington. President Trump welcomed German Chancellor Friedrich Merz to the White House for a high-level summit.
Hello, Alex. This meeting was planned months ago. However, the recent conflict in Iran became the main focus. It is a critical time for both leaders as they try to stabilize relations between the U.S. and Europe.
That is true. Initially, the agenda focused on European security and the war in Ukraine, but now the tension in the Middle East is affecting global energy markets. How did the president address these concerns?
President Trump repeated his America First approach. He asked Germany and the European Union to reduce trade barriers for American goods. He also suggested that European allies must take more responsibility for their own regional security.
Chancellor Merz represents Europe's largest economy. How did he respond to these requests?
Merz emphasized the importance of the partnership between the U.S. and Europe. However, he faces pressure at home. Many people in Germany are cautious about increasing military involvement.
They also discussed the situation in Ukraine. I understand the Trump administration is pushing for a negotiated settlement.
Yes, Alex. Support for this idea varies in Berlin. While no new trade deals or military agreements were signed today, both leaders committed to continuing their dialogue.
It seems like a complex balancing act. The president is trying to maintain traditional allies while following an independent foreign policy.
Exactly. This visit reminds us how difficult it is to manage global tensions while protecting national interests.
Thank you, Jamie, for that analysis. We will continue to monitor these developments. Thank you for listening.
Hello everyone. Today we are looking at a major update from Silicon Valley. Apple has just announced its latest MacBook computers, featuring the new M5 chip series.
That is right, Alex. On March 3rd, Apple introduced the new MacBook Air and MacBook Pro. The big story here is artificial intelligence. The new M5 processors are built specifically to handle AI and machine learning tasks.
It is an impressive step forward. According to Apple, the base M5 chip is 4 times faster at AI operations than the previous M4. This makes it a powerful tool for both creative professionals and regular users.
For those who need the most power, the 14-inch and 16-inch MacBook Pro models now feature the M5 Max chip. These machines can handle up to 128 gigabytes of memory. They also include the new N1 chip, which brings Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth 6 to the MacBook for the first time.
Apple also thought about the everyday user.
The updated MacBook Air now starts with 512 gigabytes of storage. That's double the previous amount. Even with this extra power, the battery still lasts up to 18 hours.
In addition to the laptops, Apple revealed new studio displays. These screens offer better brightness and faster data speeds for video editors and photographers.
It seems clear that Apple is moving toward a future where the Mac is the central hub for local AI processing. While the outside design looks familiar, the technology inside has changed significantly.
A very steady and strategic move by Apple. Thank you for joining us for this tech update.
We will see you next time.
Hello and welcome. Today, we are discussing a significant breakthrough in mobile technology. Samsung and Vodafone have successfully completed a test in Spain that could change how we connect to the internet.
That is correct, Alex. They made the first phone call using a new AI-native chipset. This technology is designed for virtualized networks, which means the network is controlled more by software than by traditional heavy hardware.
It is a very calm and steady step toward what we call autonomous networks. By using Samsung software and Intel's latest chips, these networks can use artificial intelligence to manage traffic and save energy automatically.
This is a major shift. Usually, mobile networks rely on specific equipment from one company, but this new Open RAN approach allows different companies like Dell and Wind River to work together. It makes the whole system more flexible and cheaper to run.
Our listeners should know that this is happening just in time for the 2026 Mobile World Congress. As the industry looks toward the future, these AI-native systems will help prepare us for 6G technology.
Also, it is interesting to see this global collaboration. With the U.S. under President Trump focusing on technological competition, the partnership between Samsung and American companies like Intel and Dell is quite important.
Indeed. These new systems basically turn local cell sites into micro data centers. This allows for much faster data processing, which is essential for things like self-driving cars and smart factories.
Samsung and Vodafone expect to start using this technology commercially later in 2026. It is a vital path for Europe to modernize its infrastructure while keeping costs under control.
A very logical step forward for the industry. Thank you for joining us for this update.
Thank you. We will continue to watch these developments closely.
Good morning. Today, we are discussing a significant shift in the global banking industry. Standard Chartered has announced that its income from sustainable finance has officially passed the $1 billion mark.
Hello, Alex. That is a major achievement. This sector is now the bank's fastest-growing business unit. In fact, their revenue in this area grew by 11% over the past year.
For our listeners who may be wondering, what exactly is sustainable finance?
Essentially, it involves financial products that support the environment and society. This includes loans for renewable energy, like wind and solar power, and green bonds that fund carbon reduction projects.
It is interesting to see how quickly this is growing. The bank has a long-term goal to provide $300 billion in sustainable finance by the year 2030.
They are moving fast. Currently, they have reached a total of $157 billion. That is a big jump from $123 billion just 1 year ago.
Standard Chartered is very active in emerging markets across Asia and Africa. Are they focusing their efforts there?
Yes, they are. They are working to close the funding gap for green projects in those regions. They believe that helping these economies grow in a sustainable way is now a core part of their business strategy.
It seems that green banking is no longer just a small niche project.
Exactly. It is being driven by new regulations and a clear shift in what investors want. People now prefer companies that follow environmental and social rules.
It is a clear sign that a bank can be environmentally responsible and highly profitable at the same time.
Indeed, Alex. This represents a permanent change in how global capital markets will operate in the future.
Thank you for that analysis, Jamie. We will continue to watch how other banks respond to this trend.
Hello and welcome to our financial update. Today, we are looking at a major development in the insurance world. Zurich Insurance Group has just announced a very large capital raise.
That is correct, Alex. On March 3, 2026, Zurich successfully raised $5 billion. This money is specifically for a big goal, buying the UK-based company Beazley plc.
It is a massive sum of money.
How did Zurich manage to collect $5 billion so quickly?
They used a process called accelerated book building. Essentially, they sold over 7 million new shares to large investors. The price was 550 Swiss francs per share. The fact that they raised this much money so fast shows that investors are very confident in Zurich's leadership.
And what makes Beazley such an attractive target for Zurich?
Beazley is a specialist. They are experts in areas like cyber insurance and other complex business risks. By joining forces, Zurich will become a much stronger player in the global commercial market, particularly in London.
This move comes at an interesting time. While the global economy is shifting, the insurance sector remains very active.
Exactly. Despite a complex economic environment, large companies are seeking more scale. They need to be bigger to manage modern risks. This deal is one of the largest we have seen in recent years.
So what are the next steps for this acquisition?
The new shares should be listed on the Swiss exchange by March 5th. However, the deal still needs final approval from regulators and shareholders during their meeting in April.
It is certainly a strategic move to watch. Thank you for the analysis, Jamie.
My pleasure, Alex.
Good morning. Today is March 3rd, 2026. For millions of Americans, today marks an important update to their monthly finances. Jamie, could you walk us through the details?
Certainly, Alex. This morning, the Social Security Administration began sending out the first payments of the month. These deposits are significant because they include the full 2.8% cost of living adjustment, also known as COLA.
That 2.8% increase is designed to help with inflation, right? How does that translate into actual dollars for the average person?
Exactly. For the average retiree, the monthly payment is now approximately $2,071. That is an increase of about $56 per month. For couples, the average increase is around $88. While these numbers are smaller than the high adjustments we saw a few years ago, they provide a steady buffer against the rising costs of housing, food, and medical care.
It is a vital safety net. Now, I understand that not everyone will receive their payment today. How is the distribution scheduled?
The agency staggers the payments throughout the month. Those who filed for benefits before May 1997 or those receiving supplemental security income are among the first to receive their funds today. Other beneficiaries will see their deposits on the 11th, 18th, or 25th of March.
And regarding the program's future, there is often talk about long-term stability. What is the current outlook?
It is a topic of constant discussion as the population ages. However, President Trump's administration has reiterated its commitment to the program. They have emphasized that payments will continue to be delivered accurately and without disruption to the 67 million people who rely on them.
Thank you, Jamie. To our listeners, if your payment does not arrive today as expected, officials recommend waiting 3 business days before calling, as bank processing times can vary.
A good reminder, Alex. Stability and patience are key this week.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our news update. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. Today we are discussing a major legal decision from Russia that is drawing international attention.
That's right. On Tuesday, a Russian court officially designated a prominent LGBTQ+ rights organization as an extremist organization.
This is a very serious classification, Alex. By using this label, the court has placed the group in the same legal category as terrorist organizations.
Exactly. This means that any form of association with the group, providing them with money, or even showing their symbols in public, is now a criminal offense. People who do not follow these rules could face heavy fines or even time in prison.
The Russian government, or the Kremlin, says these measures are necessary. They argue that they are protecting traditional family values and national security. They believe the group's activities were harmful to the moral fabric of the country.
However, human rights observers see it differently. They argue that this ruling effectively makes it a crime to advocate for the rights of sexual minorities.
We are already seeing the impact of these laws. Since the broader LGBT movement was first targeted last year, police have conducted raids on private gatherings. This has created a climate of fear, and many activists have already fled to Europe or North America.
International organizations have criticized the move, calling it a violation of fundamental freedoms. This is a story being watched closely worldwide, including by the Trump administration here in the U.S.
Without these organizations, many vulnerable individuals in Russia are now left with legal protection or support. It is a significant shift in Russian society.
It certainly is. Thank you for that analysis, Jamie. And thank you all for listening.
We will see you next time.
Good morning. Today we are looking at a rare and beautiful event that happened in the sky early this Tuesday morning, March 3rd.
That's right, Alex. It was a total lunar eclipse. Many people call this a blood moon because the moon turns a deep coppery red.
The event was visible across most of the Western Hemisphere and the Pacific. For observers on the east coast of the United States, the eclipse reached its peak just before dawn.
Meanwhile, people on the West Coast and in Australia had a spectacular view in the middle of the night. One of the best things about a lunar eclipse is that it is safe to watch with the naked eye. You don't need special filters or glasses.
It is truly a unique sight. But Jamie, could you explain why the moon turns red instead of simply disappearing into the darkness?
Certainly. It happens because of the Earth's atmosphere. When the Earth blocks the sun's direct light, some sunlight still bends around the edges of our planet. The atmosphere filters out the blue light, but allows the red light to pass through. This red light then reflects off the moon.
So it is the same reason why sunsets look red. Scientists noted that the color was especially vivid this time because of the clear skies in major cities like Los Angeles and Sydney.
It was a very special moment for many. This is actually the last total lunar eclipse that will be visible from North America for nearly 3 years. We won't see another one until late 2028.
That explains why NASA and many schools organized public viewing events. It is a wonderful way to encourage students to learn more about science and astronomy.
It definitely is. In a busy world, it provided a quiet moment for everyone to appreciate the natural patterns of our solar system.
A very peaceful start to the day. Thank you for that report, Jamie. And thank you all for listening.
Hello and welcome. Today we are discussing a significant discovery in the world of technology and physics.
That is right, Alex. Researchers in Switzerland have announced a major breakthrough. They have found a way to control magnets using only light.
This is very important. Usually, changing a magnet state requires electricity or other magnets. This process creates heat, which often slows down our computers and phones.
Exactly. But in this new study, scientists used a single ultra-fast laser pulse. With this pulse of light, they flipped the magnetic direction of a tiny material almost instantly.
They used what they call moire materials. These are very thin layers of crystals stacked together. By using a laser, the team could actually write circuits directly onto a chip.
It is a very flexible system. It means the hardware can be reconfigured on the fly to perform different tasks whenever needed.
And because the process uses light instead of heavy electrical currents, it is much more energy efficient. It produces very little heat.
This could lead to a new generation of high-speed memory and specialized hardware for artificial intelligence. As the demand for powerful computing grows, this transition from electricity to light is a critical frontier.
It is a fascinating step forward for science. Under the current administration, these innovations in efficiency and speed remain a top priority for the future of the tech industry.
Indeed, it is a very promising discovery for our digital world.
Thank you for joining us for this update. We will see you next time.